Hello and welcome to Optima 2022, where we come together as a community to expand our horizons and our expertise with all the brightest minds and new ideas in fitness and wellness. My name is Rick Ritchie, and I have the honor of introducing our very first speaker. She was inspired by her father, a lifelong athlete and weightlifting champion, about the important and formative role that fitness plays in our lives. She played field hockey in college and earned her MBA at Harvard. Go Crimson. During her career, she has led marketing and operations efforts for major brands, including Disney, Teleflora, Palm Wonderful, Stila Cosmetics, YogaWorks, and Forever 21. As president of Ascend Learning's Fitness and Wellness Group, she oversees the National Academy of Sports Medicine, the Athletics and Fitness Association of America, Active IQ, and Club Connect, which all provide industry-leading education solutions in fitness, nutrition, and wellness. Yes, she's a very busy woman, and she stays active by power walking, playing pickleball, so hot right now, and golfing. She's also a certified yoga instructor. Most of all, she's passionate about helping our community continue the important work of transforming lives. Please help me welcome the president of Fitness and Wellness for Ascend Learning, where she oversees our NASM, AFA, Club Connect, and Active IQ brands, our fearless leader, Laurie McCartney.
Thank you, Rick. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Virtual Optima Conference. I can't believe how quickly time flies. This is my 7th Optima, and I am so excited to be here with you. It is a great honor to lead an organization that is dedicated to serving this amazing community of trainers, instructors, coaches, and anyone with a passion for helping make our world a healthier and happier place. You are the lifeblood and the energy that helps transform millions of lives in over 100 countries around the world. For the next 3 days, you will connect, share, and learn with the leading experts in fitness and wellness, who will present over 100 educational sessions, heart-pounding workouts, and some very productive and fun networking events. This year's theme is Elevate Your Impact. And that is our ongoing mission at NASM and AFA, where we're dedicated to giving you the latest insights, the newest innovations, and all the science-backed knowledge that you need to continue and advance the important work you do even during a pandemic. The last 3 years have been extremely tough for all of us. But when COVID turned our world upside down with lockdowns and social distancing, we all had to dig deep and rise to the occasion by shifting to things like online training, outdoor workouts, and finding new ways to reach and connect with people, no matter what obstacles stood in the way. And we're still figuring it out. But with all the uncertainty in our world, we know one thing to be true. We can transform lives through fitness and wellness. We can help people achieve things they never thought possible. We can help them pivot and get a new lease on life and be the best version of themselves. We can help them through the dark days and celebrate the good times. That spirit of persevering through adversity and helping lift people up has always been part of your DNA. You do whatever it takes to get the job done because in your heart, you know that you can make a difference in people's lives. I want to share some stories about how members of our community are doing amazing things and elevating their impact in a world that needs them more than ever. Meet Matt Seacrest from Green Cove Springs, Florida. Matt was born with spina bifida and was never able to use his legs. At the young age of 10, he made the incredibly difficult decision to have both of his legs amputated. Now Matt is 28 years old, and he's an NASM certified personal trainer and a junior wheelchair basketball coach. The owner of the gym where Matt works says that each month when they review their customer feedback, it's Matt who receives the most rave reviews. Matt dreams about one day opening a gym where able-bodied and disabled athletes can work out and train in the same facility. Now, I want you to meet another NASM certified personal trainer named Deborah Galletti. This amazing woman is an international lawyer, a yoga teacher, a Pilates instructor, and she has an MBA. But in 2015, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2 days after the surgery to remove the cancer, Deborah was back at her indoor cycling class. Nothing was going to stop her from returning to what she loved. Now, Deborah's 61 years old and is as active as she's ever been. In fact, her Instagram has over 100,000 followers who on any given day can see her pushing and pulling weights, doing handstands, and performing amazing moves on the aerial lyra. Deborah says that she's on a mission to inspire other women to stay active at any age and at any fitness level. And here's someone you already know. Rick Ritchie is an NASM master instructor and host of the award-winning NASM CPT podcast. He holds a master's degree in exercise science and a doctorate from Penn West, California. Throughout his career, Rick has worked with numerous film and television personalities, professional athletes, and traditional clients to help them reach their goals. But you may be surprised to hear that in 2015, Rick was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He has since dedicated himself to helping others understand the science, research, and different types of exercise that can provide better support for people dealing with the challenges of this health condition. And in addition to being our MC here at Optima, Rick is also leading several education sessions, including one about the role exercise plays in the prevention and treatment of type 2 diabetes. And then we have yet another accomplishment to add to Rick's resume. This year, I was proud to be at Ideal World when Rick Ritchie was recognized with the Personal Trainer of the Year award. These are just some of the stories that are happening in your community. You and the work you do make a monumental difference in the lives of so many people, and we want to be a resource you can rely on to continuously elevate your impact. Our family of brands are here for you. We are the market leaders and have educated over 1.4 million fitness professionals with the state-of-the-art solutions you need to keep learning, growing, and succeeding. Our certified personal trainer program is the gold standard in the fitness industry, and it's the top choice of gym owners and operators around the world. And with so much focus on the importance of nutrition in our lives, it's no surprise that our certified nutrition coach is our second most requested program. In fact, last year, we expanded our nutrition franchise with Certified Sports Nutrition Coach, which provides coaching strategies for the entire spectrum of athletes, from high school sports to elite performers. And as always, our product development team has been working tirelessly to put your feedback into motion with exciting new programs and updates. And as promised at last year's Optima, we launched our groundbreaking new Certified Wellness Coach program. The wellness market is predicted to reach $6 trillion in 2025, and our state-of-the-art immersive course prepares you to apply a holistic approach to optimizing the well-being of your clients in a variety of real-world scenarios. Earlier this year, we launched a robust update of our senior fitness specialization on our interactive digital learning platform. This program will help you address the diverse needs and active lifestyle goals of the growing group of 54 million adults over the age of 65 in the US alone. We also just finished completely revamping our women's fitness specialization. This is by far the most comprehensive women's fitness program on the market, and it's designed to simplify your path to successfully support clients across their life phases and stages. And our Edge app is always evolving to provide the tools that enable you to train your clients anywhere at any time with assigned workouts, live video sessions, and more. We also continue to expand our offerings through NASM Connected. This digital subscription platform provides unlimited access to hundreds of fitness courses, CEUs, and exclusive content from our experts, giving you the ability to enhance your career while staying up to date with your certification, all in one place. Club Connect, our personalized and easy-to-use education and training platform, is now utilized in more than 9,000 health clubs, studios, gyms, and even military bases to recruit, engage, educate, and elevate staff, making NASM and AFA's content, resources, and solutions even more accessible at the employer level. So what's next? Our product development team is always listening to you and working hard to make sure you have all the tools and expertise you need to continue transforming lives. But our latest program takes transformation to a whole new level. Today, we are proud to announce the launch of our long-awaited physique and bodybuilding coach program. This groundbreaking program is several years in the making, and it provides you with everything you need to master the art and science of coaching physique and bodybuilding clients, as well as applying the methodologies in your own life. Here's a quick look at the brand new NASM PVC.
Barbell deadlifts, barbell squats, overhead press, lat pull down, chest press, repeat. Barbell deadlifts, barbell squats, overhead press, lat pull down.
One of my favorite motivational speakers, Tim S. Grover, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant's coach. One thing that he talks about is balance. And this is a key thing, right? When he talks about elite athletes, there is no balance. The balance is really an all-out sprint. All the time.
And when you're ready to stop, repeat. That's how we climb Olympia.
This sport can be the most fun in your entire life if you do it the right way.
When you push that extra rep, when you pull another set, when you commit to the prep, what you give is what you'll get. When you take in the science and leave behind the sweat. When you transform your clients. When you lift that one last rep. You will climb the mountain, and no one will forget.
Bodybuilding makes me feel alive.
Bring on the build with the NASM Physique and Bodybuilding Coach Program.
So you can see we've been very busy and we're excited about the road ahead. All of us at NASM, AFA, Club Connect, and AIQ are dedicated to delivering the highest quality programs and solutions to keep you moving forward and succeeding at the highest level. But we could never do it without the support of our strategic partners. These are the companies and brands that we work with to create opportunities for our fitness and wellness community to grow and thrive. Recently, we added new partners like Trivecta, Garmin, Lorna Jane, Vivo Barefoot, Kettlebell Kings, and Innovate to a growing list of top-tier brands providing exclusive discounts and opportunities to NASM and AFA professionals. We are grateful for the academic organizations and universities, schools, and recreation centers that deliver NASM and AFA programs to more than 12,000 students annually. And with the addition of Coursera last year, our potential reach now extends to over 110 million people worldwide. We also want to salute our health club partners who have demonstrated inspiring perseverance over the last 3 years. We are excited that the health club industry is revitalizing, with people returning to the gyms in record numbers. New member check-ins are up 24% in 2022 compared to 2021. So gyms need trainers more than ever, and we are working with more than 10,000 health club partners to support the recruitment, retention, and ongoing career development opportunities for NASM and AFA professionals. Did you know that 100% of NFL and NBA teams have at least one NASM credentialed trainer on staff? We are very proud to be the official education partner for the athletic trainer associations in the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Soccer. This is a testament to the reputation of our programs, and as I like to say, if you can use our programs to train elite athletes in every major sports league, you can use them to train anyone, anywhere, anytime. Thank you to all our VPs, international fitness professionals, distributors, and partners in over 100 countries. This year, we added new partners in Australia, Brazil, India, Ireland, Italy, Jordan, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, and Thailand. And let's take a quick trip around the world with our international family.
Hi, this is Physical Coaching Academy. I am Olivier.
Je suis Fabrice et ik ben Timothy.
Hi everyone, I'm Robin from Korea.
My name is Kelly Singer.
I'm Randy Kuti.
I am certified personal trainer by NAL in Athens, Greece.
Alpha partner in Australia and New Zealand.
NASM CPD CSPS in Beijing, China.
In Seoul, Korea.
In Novi Sad, Serbia. We are NASM International Community.
And now I am thrilled to officially kick off Optima 2022. This event would not be possible without the support of our sponsors and exhibitors. And I invite everyone to visit these great brands in our virtual expo hall, where you can learn more about their wonderful products and services, and where you will receive all kinds of exclusive Optima offers and discounts. We also believe it's important to recognize members of our community who've made a lasting impact on our industry and the world. The Don Wildman Commitment to Excellence Award recognizes organizations and individuals who have made innovative and impactful contributions to the fitness and wellness community. This year, we recognize the hardworking team at Move to Empower. This incredible organization is on a mission to use fitness instruction as an empowerment tool that elevates marginalized communities all around the world. Through its outreach efforts, Move to Empower has created sustainable programs in India, Peru, and Kenya that are making a meaningful difference in people's lives. As part of this award, NASM and AFA are donating free access to 20 of our certification programs to be given by Move to Empower to aspiring fitness professionals in the developing world. We are also starting a new program with Move to Empower, where our certified trainers, instructors, and wellness coaches can apply to be fitness ambassadors that will travel into the countries and communities that so desperately need our help. Accepting this award is the founder and CEO of Move to Empower, who also happens to be an AFA group fitness instructor. And here's a special message from Tony Rubio.
Thank you, Lori, NASM, and AFA for this wonderful recognition. Our mission at Move to Empower is to bring opportunity for fitness certification and employment to the communities that need it most. And with the support of NASM and AFA, we can help more people than ever before. We're so proud to partner with you, and we look forward to working with your trainers and instructors on our new ambassador program. Together, we're making a huge difference in the world. Thank you so much for this honor.
And now I have the privilege to introduce a true visionary in the world of fitness. As a pioneer in the fields of science help, her mission is to translate insights from psychology and neuroscience into practical strategies that support well-being and strengthen our communities. She has written several books that explore fascinating topics like the way exercise and movement is integral to our happiness and our humanity. Her TED Talk on how to make stress your friend is one of the most popular of all time with over 29 million views. She's a health psychologist and lecturer at the Stanford University Graduate School of Business, and recently she was one of the subject matter experts who helped us develop our new Certified Wellness Coach program. I'm very honored to welcome our keynote speaker, our very own AFA Group Fitness Instructor, Kelly McGonigal.
I want you to imagine the best possible feedback a client could give you. Imagine that someone you've trained or someone in your group exercise class writes a card to thank you. What could they say that would make you feel like you are having exactly the impact you want to have? What would make you feel like you are doing the work you are meant to do? I'd like to share an email I received that did just that for me. It's from a woman in the dance classes I teach at my local community center, and she wrote to describe what the classes had meant to her at a time she was dealing with a family crisis. She wrote, "Sometimes it's given me the opportunity to feel strong and empowered. Sometimes to work through difficult emotions, and sometimes to feel joyful and optimistic. I had experienced these benefits before, but knew this year was feeling really seen and supported by my wonderful classmates. Some of them were experiencing their own challenges. By dancing together in community, I think we drew strength from each other. And I was reminded that I wasn't alone." When people talk about life-changing fitness experiences, they describe three things. The first is how the activity made them feel strong, empowered, optimistic. The second is a personal connection, a relationship with a trainer, an instructor, or a community. And the third is a benefit, a change in themselves or their lives, like finding the strength to get through a crisis. Whether you know it or not, you are already changing lives. That's the power of movement and the power of connection. Whether you're a personal trainer, a Group X instructor, running your own studio, coaching, leading wellness retreats, or building online communities, what you do has the power to change lives. One reason I know that is I've been a certified group fitness instructor for more than 20 years, and I'm also a psychologist. And part of my research involves asking people to tell me how exercise has changed their lives to better understand the impact that we as fitness professionals can have. So my goal today is to share with you what I've learned about what makes exercise transformative. I want you to be able to talk about the work that you do in a way that celebrates its impact, not only on physical health and fitness, but also in how someone feels about themselves, their place in the world, and what they are capable of. Finding the words to describe this impact will help you communicate the benefits of working with you, and it will also empower you to be even more intentional about how you change lives. So this workshop has two parts. First, I'm going to lead you through 3 reflections to get clear about the impact that you want to have. I created a handout that will guide you through these reflections, and you can find this handout in the Files tab that is next to the chat window for this session. It's also in an email from NASM that got sent earlier today. Now, to actually do the reflections fully, you'll need to take some time on your own, but this workshop will explain the process and give you some examples to get you started. In the second part of this workshop, I talk with other fitness pros about how they think about their impact, and I hope that these conversations inspire you. I love hearing fitness pros talk about why their work matters, and I especially love digging into the specifics. What choices do you make in program design? How do you talk to clients? How do you market yourself? I'm confident that these conversations will help you identify strategies to elevate your own impact. But first, let's dive into those 3 elements I mentioned, starting with how someone feels when they work with you. Take a moment to think about a physical activity that you train or teach. Weightlifting, yoga, running, something specific. How does it make you feel when you do it? For example, when I box, I feel courageous. It's the combination of my heart pounding and the focused power in my strikes and the language that my coach uses to motivate me. I like being told to not give up, to fight for it. It helps me feel that drive inside me. It's why I always return to boxing when I'm going through something difficult. I need to feel that fighting spirit. So what about you and your activity? In your best moments, how does that activity make you feel? What you love about an activity is part of your power. You will naturally help others tap into the same feelings. So take the time to think about what that activity brings out in you. Okay, next question. Do you know how your clients feel when they train with you? If you don't know, it's time to find out. Ask them for a word that sums up how they feel after a session, or ask them what their favorite part of a class is. Listen for positive physical sensations, like feeling fast, strong, or energized. Listen for emotions, like feeling proud, having fun, being free from their worries. And listen for attitudes and mindsets, like feeling empowered, or competitive, or centered. These are words you can use when you describe your work. This is part of why people choose to work with you. Finally, I want you to consider, how do you want someone to feel in their time with you? On the handout for this workshop, you'll find a list of dozens of positive feeling states. Take a look at that list later for inspiration, because I want you to come up with 3 words that describe how you want someone to feel in their time with you. For example, I want students in my dance classes to feel joy, belonging, and celebration. And then for each of your 3 words, think about when someone is most likely to experience it in their time with you. For example, 3 opportunities that I have to make people feel celebrated are: 1, when I first welcome them to class; 2, when I see them giving their all in a dance and I make eye contact and I smile or I give them a shout out; and 3, which is my favorite, when I find out what someone's favorite song is and then I use it in class. Let's take another example. A personal trainer who leads small group strength workouts. Let's say that trainer wants clients to feel empowered. The trainer might decide that a client is most likely to feel empowered when, 1, they get to choose between exercise options; 2, they succeed at something difficult; and 3, when they help someone else in their group succeed. The trainer could then think about how to make all 3 of these things a more consistent part of their program design. This reflection will take you some time to sort through, but if you do, I promise, you will discover opportunities to create an experience that your clients crave. So let's move on to the next aspect of exercise that can be life-changing: relationships. What kind of relationships do you want to build with clients or within a community? A great place to start is to think about the best relationships you've had with a trainer, a coach, an instructor, or anyone who's helped you. How did your interactions with that person make you feel? I remember when I first moved to New York City, I felt really lost in the crowd. And it was a Zumba instructor who was the first person to see me, to recognize me in class and say, "It's so good to see you again." What a small moment, but it meant everything to me. And this is something I now aim to do as an instructor, to make people feel seen. Let them know there's a place where they can show up and people will be glad they are there. It's simple, but it gives me direction, something to do in every class to build relationships. So how do you want clients to feel about their interactions with you? Do you want them to feel encouraged, challenged, listened to and understood? Are you the athletic coach they always wanted? Or are you the friend who hangs out with them and gets to know them while you exercise? Are you someone who can see their potential and hold hope for them, even when they're discouraged? Again, I want you to come up with a few words that describe the kind of professional relationships you want to build. And just like you did for the feelings you want clients to have, take time to brainstorm. What opportunities do you have to establish that relationship? Think about the time that you spend with clients, but also any communication you have with clients, phone calls, email marketing, social media. How do you talk to clients? What do you share with your community? And what opportunities do you give them to connect with you? If you run any kind of community or teach group classes, you also get to consider, how do you want people to feel about being a part of that community? When do clients get a chance to interact with one another? And how can you encourage those connections? Watch when and how people are already connecting and then build off of that. So for example, I've learned to start classes a few minutes late despite my innate punctuality, and that's because I realized that was when people shared recipes and complimented someone's haircut and talked about their lives. All right, I've got one last reflection for you, and it's a question I already asked. What could a client say to you that would make you feel like you are doing the work you are meant to do? It could be something you've actually heard from a client. If you've saved thank you cards or emails or praise from online reviews, look at them. What stands out? What makes you feel the most satisfied? And if you don't have those things yet, focus on what you hope to someday hear. What would make you proud or even humbled? We're talking about that big impact, the thing that your heart hopes to hear that you're doing in your work. I'm going to share one more example from my own classes because it's something that surprised me. We often have a bigger impact than we realize, and this email helped me understand that. This story is also a testament to the power of the connections we can build through virtual platforms. At the beginning of COVID-19, like many fitness pros, I shifted to virtual training. I filmed dance classes from my dining room for my students to do anytime they wanted. And one of those students sent me this email. I just did the most recent of your videos for the 3rd time, and I have to tell you how important they are to me, especially now in this very lonely time. I've been doing pretty well in the months after my husband died, gradually accepting his absence, getting support from friends and family. I still get that, but it's not the same when we can't be together. Your videos have provided respite, even occasional happiness. I realized early on that I would actually smile when we danced, just about the only time I did. The house is very quiet and empty, and you fill it with music and dance. Thank you. The most important thing I want you to know is that you are also having this kind of impact. The stories your clients would tell are going to be different because what you offer and who you are is unique. Your power to change lives and the impact you have, it's a combination of what you train or teach, what you've been through, what you care about, and how you connect with others. And you won't always know the difference you've made. People don't always know how to express what you mean to them or how you've helped them. I bet the boxing instructor who trained me over Zoom during the COVID shutdown has no idea how much she helped me get through that difficult time. Trust that what you are doing matters, and take the time to imagine the kind of impact you want to have, because that intention will guide you and empower you. And now, I get the chance to talk with a few other fitness pros about their impact. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. And I hope you and I get to connect too someday. I'd love to hear what you are doing to change lives. So now, let's go get some inspiration from within our NASM community. Debbie, thank you so much for being a part of this event. Can you start just by telling folks who you are, what you do?
Yes, I'm a master trainer with National Academy of Sports Medicine. I'm a certified personal trainer at California Family Fitness for over 13 years. I have worked with athletes to get them to perform better, and a lot of what I focus on is prehab and rehab.
So you're here to share with us how you think about your impact, and I was wondering if you could start by telling us a story about a client, something that helps us understand what lights you up about the work that you do.
I'd love to. I have so many stories. But this one I'll talk about. She's 65 years old, and she said she lacked motivation. She hoped she could gain mobility. She said she beat herself up mercilessly, which she did. And
did she actually do that in her sessions with you?
Yes.
So you had to like respond to her.
I did. I got her to create the I am statements we can talk about. It fed her feelings of inadequate because of her feelings of beating herself up. So she was feeling hopeless, helpless, and she said the more we worked together, the better I felt. My feelings of hopelessness disappeared. She built up her stability and her strength and her movement, and she's getting healthier and not beating herself up. Oh, I love that.
I love that too, and it's so interesting. Do you think that it was actually the changes that she experienced in her physical mobility that was driving that increase in hope or being more kind to herself? Or do you think that was a lot too from the relationship that you were able to build?
I think it's all of it. It's so encompassing. Our relationships are critical to helping our clients, right? And then, of course, mobility gives them confidence.
I think you came up with an impact statement, like a vision statement. Okay, so tell us about this.
I'm glad you asked us to do this because it's really something I'm already doing, but the chance to think about it and ponder it has been wonderful for me.
Good.
So my statement is I welcome clients enthusiastically so that they feel valued. Oh, what I would give to feel valued early on, right? I want them to feel that value. And I program workouts that empower them so that they achieve small successes often. That gives them that confidence and the motivation to keep going. They improve the quality of their life. And I have examples of that. And they leave the gym feeling better than when they walked in that door. It's hard to get in that door.
I love that for a couple reasons. So one is you've got all those things in there that I was talking about earlier, how you make someone feel, the relationship that you build, the actual impact, the benefits that people receive from doing the training. But I have to tell you too, like what you just shared, you did that with me before we even started recording this conversation. You know, we're sitting here, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about it. You start engaging me, you were super enthusiastic, and you even in just that small interaction, I kind of like saw you shift. I could feel you were doing it, and it felt really good to be on the receiving end of who you are as a trainer. I'm wondering if you can, so let's give some practical examples to folks. When you are thinking about how to connect with someone, how to enthusiastically welcome them, or how to make someone who maybe feels like walking into that gym, maybe they don't belong. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you're thinking about doing? You also had mentioned an I am statement, which I don't know if that has something to do with that or that's the hope building.
Yes, there's so many things that you can do, but the very first critical moment is when they first walk in, right? So many times we're busy doing things, and then we miss paying attention that we just had somebody beautiful and of value walk in front of us. And we need to recognize that and say, hi, how are you doing? I'm so glad you're here, right? And they just go, oh, and it kind of lights them up a little bit if they came in down.
How do you do that authentically? I mean, is that just who you are and it's easy to give, or do you do anything to get into that space?
Mostly it's who I am. There's a few people, like 90%, but there's a few that I'm like, okay, yes, they're coming. And then I think all these positive things that I already know.
Yeah.
And I go, oh yeah, that's right, let's go. Then I always ask how they're doing, because you never know what they've done from the last time they saw you until currently. You don't know what their mindset is, you don't know what their health is. They could have taken a fall, they could have lost a cat, anything that would cause them to be down and unable to really focus on what we want to achieve.
Like if I wanted to feel like, let's say that what I want is to feel strong. Will you like literally say to me, Kelly, you are strong?
Yeah, Kelly, you are strong. Do you feel that today? Yeah. Look at that move you just did. That was beautiful, textbook perfect form.
Well, so I'm really interested in this. So something like strong, that's something you can actually program for. Something like lean or fit, you kind of have to think about that, right? Like if you want to give someone an experience that, like, let's say that was someone's goal, lean and fit, and you want to create a moment where they really feel connected, what kind of movement are you thinking about? Like, how would you give someone an experience where they actually feel in that moment, I am fit?
So you actually program workouts that make them feel successful. You have to know the ability level of each one of your clients, because that varies. And it even could vary from workout to workout, depending on how they're feeling. You know, you could not have had a good night's sleep, or maybe they come in really strong that day. Okay, and I tell them, especially if I'm working on like a shoulder rehab or something like that, and ooh, today's a good day. So we're gonna celebrate that, and we're gonna work around that on a good day, and on the other days, we're gonna work with it. And so we celebrate their good moments, and I treasure that. And I point that out to them. Look how good you're doing. Doesn't it feel amazing? You know?
Do you actually, do you sequence that? Is that, do you want to leave someone with a success experience, even if they struggled with something earlier in the workout?
Yes, you want them leaving the gym feeling better than when they walked in. And so as they leave, all of them, I'll say again, like I did at the beginning, so now how do you feel? And it's just marvelous to see that transformation. So many times they say, oh, I'm so glad I came. I almost didn't come. Yeah. I didn't want to come today. And I said, well, you got here, and that's what counts.
So I wanted to wrap up and see if there's something, like a message that you wanted to share with our audience.
I do. So one time, someone said to me, you are doing amazing when I was losing all my weight, because if you can do it, anybody can do it. And I thought, is that a compliment or what, right? And I've told so many people that, though. Look where I started. If I can do it, I know you can do it. And all you have to do is love your clients. You have to get to know them, get to know their goals, their dreams, and build them up. Everybody needs to know they have value. Oh, if we could just make the world better by just giving them value and hope and confidence, just get to love them. They're all wonderful.
And it starts with you actually having that mindset yourself.
Yes, 100%, yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Bryant, thank you so much for joining us for this event to share with us how you think about the impact that you have with your work. Could you start by telling us just a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Bryant Shrafi. I do a lot of things, a man of different things, within the fitness industry. I would say I'm a coach. I'm a fitnesspreneur. I'm a father, a husband. As far as fitness industry, I've been a coach, strength and conditioning coach, and a personal trainer for 14 years now. Do everything from leading teams, so big groups, 30 people, sometimes 80 people at a time, sports teams. I was an athlete. I played college football, studied kinesiology. So fitness, sports has just always been big part of my life, and it was really just having those coaches, those people who are influential, who were there for me during difficult times, that supported me, that asked me how I was doing. They were just the place away from home, the third place for me. Out of school and home, it was sports.
Is that part of how you think about your work now, that you're creating like a home away from home?
That's really what it is, yeah. I mean, it's just having, I knew what sport coaches, strength and conditioning coaches were for me, and how important they were. Not really in the moment, but after several years later, reflecting back, how powerful and instrumental that was to, getting through tough times.
Yeah. I love that idea of creating a home for someone. I've really felt that in my experiences with a totally different kind of context in group fitness.
Yeah.
And I remember that when I first started taking group fitness classes, it was at a time when I felt really, really lonely. And it literally was the only place I felt like I was at home. Like anyone would even notice if I was there.
Yeah.
That's great that you're doing that too. One of the things that this workshop is encouraging folks to do is to think about those meaningful experiences in their lives that maybe have shaped the work that they do now. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, is there another story, another experience you've had with exercise that has really shaped the work that you do or the impact you want to have?
Yeah, I mean, in 2019, right before the pandemic, at the very end of that year, I was going through burnout, just doing too much and not really taking care of my own health and fitness as much as I normally did, and just not managing my stress well. And I've always managed my stress well with exercise. It's always been like a buffer. First thing in the morning gets my day started. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't really doing that. And just had a breakdown, had a panic attack, went through, it was a difficult time, and after getting out of that, like slowly it was, well, I'm not really exercising as much. I'm not really doing the things I love to do. At that time, I wasn't really working with teams. And that's really what made me happy. Working with teams and really doing my own fitness, my own training. So bringing that back to my life and making sure I inspire other people, to make sure that's a priority for them, and doing what I love was really key to getting my best self back.
So that's so interesting. So you're describing really two things. One is physical activity itself. Just like exercise as medicine is really important for your ability to manage stress. And then spending time doing things you love. So I want to ask you about that because, and maybe how that informs the impact you want to have with your clients, because I can really see the exercise part you're definitely going to deliver. Like, how do you think about teaching or communicating that second part? The idea that it's important to spend time doing what you love, or at places that feel like another home, or with people you love. That's part of what you're teaching too?
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of it goes back to that time in my life, that high school, college, where I was going through some tough times, losing my mother during that time, and being able to pay that back, pay that forward, being there for people that same age, because they're going through a lot of different things. Maybe not losing a loved one, but it's just a stressful, difficult time adjusting to a lot of new things. In high school, in college, it's hard. So just having someone else outside of their teachers, their professors, or sport coaches that they see a couple hours a week, that could be fun, could be supporting, challenging them, helping them manage stress, and working beyond the body, but the mind too. Not just being a trainer or a strength coach, but just being a supporter, someone who's there for them, and that's how I do it. I just show support, show love, make it fun.
This is so great. I just want to highlight for a moment, because you were talking about how you were experiencing burnout, doing all of this, being the fitrepreneur and all of that, and that you had to go back to what you love. And I think that's so important as a message for people to hear, that you're saying that's natural part of who you are, to be playful. And there's something about, like, it's important for us too. Like, you are gonna have this amazing impact on the teams and the individuals you work with, because it's true to who you are, it's your essence. And so you're gonna be able to bring that out more effectively than somebody who maybe, like, I don't know if I'm as fun or as playful, right? I'm not gonna bring that out as well. But I'll bring out, like, the dramatic energy for people who just want to express and show their emotions. And, like, every trainer can do that, can think about what's going to make this session really fun and enjoyable for me, because I'm bringing who I am to it. And that's part of what you bring out in your clients.
Being authentic is key, because you can't just be someone you're not. It's like, I'm not that, like, drill sergeant, loud, type of strength and conditioning coach or trainer.
And it's not what you wanted in a coach or trainer either.
But I'll be playful, but I'll have structure. I'll give them a lot of choice. I really create community and connection. We'll do cheers. We'll do things together at the same time. Because that builds community, that builds connection, that builds a different energy. So I'll find my own ways that are fun for me, because then I can be my best self. They feel it. They feel empowered.
We had chatted a little bit about the stories that have helped you get clear about the impact you want to have. And one thing I'd asked you is whether you shared any of those stories with your clients. Like, is that a part of your business presence in any way? And you said no, and I thought that was so interesting.
I think I need to do that. I had a better job of that, Kelly. I think this was so cool to do this, because it made me really reflect on my own self, my own business, and, like, I need to do a better job of, like, showing that to the world. Two stories of my clients that, that I can think of are mental health based, helping them through their mental health. As well as myself, I went through something, my mental health journey recently in the last couple of years, and being able to help them through. One of my clients hadn't worked out his whole life. He was in his 40s when he started, because he was bullied. He had anxiety going into any fitness setting, because he was bullied in PE. And being able to help him, I met him during the pandemic, and we started working virtually, helping him get comfortable with a fitness setting, with working out just in his room. Then it was
We got to go to his downstairs apartment building gym. And then we got to have him go into my gym. It was just like those steps.
That's a big deal for someone who is traumatized by PE.
Traumatized.
Yeah.
Never worked out in his entire life until the age of 44.
Wonder if there's any message that you wanted to share, just in thinking, like, reflecting on impact, meaning, or something that you've learned from your experience training others, just like a message that you wanted to share with our audience.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. If you're not like exercising and taking care of your health and you're managing your stress and your needs, you can't take care of others. I feel like right now I'm truly like at my highest and best because I'm really taking care of myself first. That's my sleep, my recovery, my nutrition, everything is more aligned. And because of that, I feel it, I see it, I notice it in my own practice. And I wasn't really doing that before, but I wasn't even that aware. Just being aware that if you're taking care of yourself, you can take care of others better. I would say that's my biggest message.
I bet you there are a lot of people who needed to hear that.
Yeah, because as trainers, as you know, like we're always like taking care of other people, we forget about ourselves. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome. Colleen, thank you so much for being here, for being a part of this event, and talking to us about how you think about impact. Can you start by telling us just who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm the owner of CR Functional Fitness in Northern California. And in my studio, I do individual personal training and small group classes exclusively for older adults. And my clientele ranges in age from 50 to 90. And I was thinking about my intro in light of what you asked us to do, to come up with 3 words that we want our clients to feel during a session. So my 3 words are strong, energized, and confident.
I love that. And we'll dig in a little bit to how you actually make that happen. But I also know you've got an interesting kind of origin story about how you got into this field.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you can share that.
Thank you. Yes, it wasn't one experience. It's been a series of experiences over really 5 decades that have led me to where I am today. I originally started with a love of dance, got a degree in ballet. I didn't have the body type or talent to take me beyond that, but I pursued fitness throughout my life, worked in marketing and communications, raised my family, and then I had what I can only call as inspiration that I wanted to start a second career in fitness at really a time in many people's lives when they're considering retiring. And I attribute that, after reading your book, to the lifelong effect of physical activity, and that it may have actually rewired my brain in a good way to give me the courage to start my own business, because I am not a natural-born entrepreneur, but I'm doing what I love and sharing my love of movement and feeling strong with other older adults.
That is interesting, because yes, I totally agree that movement gives us courage. I use it, I call it encouraging. Like, it gives me the courage to go after what matters, as you described. Like, to make those changes even if you aren't 100% sure you're ready.
Right.
But what I love is that you're talking about helping older adults really engage with life, to have the physical ability that they need to do what matters most, and that you not only used exercise to help you do that, to make that change in your life when others might be retiring, but that you also chose that as the focus of your work, as the impact that you want to have. How do you find the clients who want that? Like, how are you communicating that that really is what you're offering?
Yeah. I want my social media and my website and marketing to represent that. So yes, there's some gym shots, but really my images of people on Instagram and Facebook are of older adults fully engaged with life. They're carrying their grandkids on their shoulders, or giving them piggyback rides, or they're out in the garden, or they're walking and hiking, or just being socially engaged with one another. And that's going to give them the best life. So that I hope to walk that talk, and I want to show that in the images that represent my business as well.
Yeah, so you're really showing the impact, the benefit
Correct.
of what you're doing.
Correct, yes.
So I had asked you to look back at what clients thank you for. I think it's so important. We have our aspirations, but also it's really good to find out the impact we're having by listening to what others say.
Yeah.
I think you brought something to share.
Yeah. So
I love hearing these, by the way. This is like the best for me. I could spend all day listening to expressions of gratitude.
Touches me as well. This is from a 78-year-old client of mine who was diagnosed with dementia a couple of years ago, and he is experiencing mild to moderate cognitive impairment.
And did he come to you specifically because of that diagnosis?
Yes, he did, and his doctor advised him that exercise was going to have huge benefits in his life, both cognitively and physically, and so, yes, he sought me out for those reasons. He says, "Dear Colleen, just a quick note to tell you how much I value my workouts with you. Were it not for your effective coaching, I have no doubt that I would not be functioning at the level I am today. Your encouragement is such a strong tool, and it is even more important to me than the strength and balance work that we do. For someone who is coping with a terminal and progressive disease, you offer me hope. Thank you for being part of my treatment team, your friend, Larry."
That is the kind of email or message that I think everyone hopes to get, to have that kind of impact. And I'm especially thinking, he talked, about the strength that you were helping him cultivate, but also the encouragement, that kind of relationship with you. And then also the feeling of hope, that there was something about what he was doing in his time with you that was giving him hope that kind of transcends the actual getting physically stronger. Can you tell me a little bit, how do you think about that? Are you designing for hope?
Well, it's very easy for me to recognize that in my clients, and I'll tell you one kind of specific way I do that we end every session standing in front of the mirror, and I'm very fortunate to have a huge wall of mirrors in my studio, and we take a couple or 3 good breaths, just wrapping your arms around your upper body, and exhaling, and just lowering your hands and standing tall and just appreciating who you are in the mirror. And I see my clients' necks get longer, their shoulders are back, their chests are lifted, and they're literally standing like 2 inches taller than when they walked in the door.
You want people to feel empowered and confident, and strong and hopeful. But there's a lot that can get in the way of that, especially if your body has changed in ways that make it more difficult to move.
Yeah.
How do you think about some of those things that could be obstacles or barriers? Have you noticed that people can actually experience the opposite of the impact you're trying to have?
Yes, they can, and I try to direct them away from that. Where I could fall short in working with clients is if I get overly rigid in my programming, and it's like, okay, here's the agenda today, here's what we're doing, and I'm not sensitive to where they are on that particular day. And I think being a personal trainer requires a lot of intuitive ability, and you have to be sensitive and flexible. So, there may be a day where they come in and they're just not feeling it, and once we get going, it's okay. Then there's other days that maybe their back's hurting, they're burdened with caring for their own elderly parent, and it's just not happening. And on those days, I can't get rigid about my programming. I need to adapt, and maybe that day we're just going to do foam rolling and stretching, and I'm going to spend 20 minutes taking the percussion massager up and down their back, and they're going to leave feeling better. And that is my ultimate goal with my clients, is that they leave feeling better. There's plenty of future sessions, they'll get stronger, but that day they need a more nurturing approach. So I got to be able to adjust to that.
I think that is a great idea. That's something I want to do for myself now, having heard you say that. I want to have the rule. If there's one thing I want, for you want people to leave a session with you feeling better.
Absolutely.
I love that idea that you could have a default impact like that then when you're making choices, do we do this or that? Do I stick with my plan or not? Do I allow this thing to happen or not? You just go to that default rule. Is this going to help them leave feeling better or not?
And I don't always get it right, but I want to stay tuned in to where my client is and what's going to give them the best result and make them feel confident, strong, and it may not be lifting heavy weights that day, and rejuvenated and energized when they leave.
Nice. Okay, we are here. We're ready for the final message to the audience. Okay. I was wondering, do you have anything that you would want to share with our audience when you think about the impact that we can have?
Yes, I would like to encourage other trainers to consider specializing in working with older adults, and there's a couple of reasons for that. From a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense because of the huge growth in the 65 plus demographic, and there's a big target market out there who is in need of our services. And that leads me to the second reason, and more important, is that when you look at where the greatest need is and where you can have the biggest impact, I think it's in working with older adults. Because how great would it be to be able to say that because of your work with a particular client, that they were able to continue living independently. When it comes to transformational impact of exercise, I think the older adults are just, I can't think of a better place to invest your time and energy.
I love it. Your passion is like literally radiating off of you. I hope that it is contagious and some folks take that message to heart.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here. My pleasure.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining this event and for letting me be a part of it. I feel so lucky to be in the fitness industry and to be connected to this community that is always trying to learn and grow. I hope these conversations will motivate you to reflect on your own impact and to share your stories with others. Because every fitness pro has a story to tell about why movement matters. And I think it's time that the world appreciated just how life-changing our industry can be. Be sure to check out the handout for this workshop, which is in the email NASM sent earlier today, as well as in the Files tab next to the chat window for this session. The handout will take you through the reflections we talked about in more detail, and it can also help you lead a conversation with other folks about these ideas. This is a field that lets you share what you love and share the best part of you with others. I hope this session has helped you feel connected to your own why. Because what you do matters so much to so many, probably more than you will ever know.